Hello there! It's great to see that you're still with me here building this project. And so in this lecture and the next one, we will build a section which contains the available homes on the website. And I'm actually really excited for this one because now you're going to learn how to build a rather complex component using a mix of CSS grid properties, overlapping, and flexbox. And so basically what we're going to do here in this section is to lay out these cards here, okay? So each of these homes gets its own card. And I actually love to design these cards. So we had a card in the Naders project, if you remember that one. And now we have these cards here. So one card for each home. And so of course, all of this here, all of these elements that you see here, they are laid out using CSS Grid. Then also the 6 cards that we have here, they are also laid out in a grid, okay? So let's actually start with that overall grid, which is a 3x2 grid, such as we had before in the features section. And then after that, we will start building. So let's go to our markup here, of course, and create 6 home elements. So home, and I'm once more going to use Emmet here, which I showed you in the features section. And so I use the curly brackets to add some content into each of these elements. So let's just say home card, and then the number of the element times 6, because we want 6, hit tab, and that's it. And so now we can open up our file here, so the homes file, and start building our grid. So of course, our grid container here is this homes element, which is the parent of our 6 home grid items. So let's define our grid columns here. And let's do that the exact same way that we did in the features section, okay? So we're going to use repeat, and we say that we want as many columns as fit into the grid container. And for that, remember, you can use the autofit keyword. Okay, and then we say that we want each of these columns to have at least 25 rem and that they can go all the way to 1 fractional unit. So we do that with min-max, as we did many times before, and we say the minimum to 25 rem, meaning 250 pixels, and going all the way to 1 fractional unit if there is enough space available for that. So again, this is what we did with the features section, and this will ensure that basically these columns are completely responsive without having to write a media query at all. Now let's also define the gap between the rows and the columns at the same time of 70 pixels. Okay, and then just for the home, let's define a quick background color here, just so that we can see if our grid is working correctly. So background color, and I'm gonna use color gray light 1. Okay, so this one here, and that's actually the real background color that these cards will have. So let's check that out now. And for some reason that's not quite working yet. And yeah, so that's because I keep forgetting to set the display property to grid. So display grid. And also let's add some margin here, such as in the features section. So 15 rem top and bottom, and 0 on these sides. Okay, and so now that should look better. And yeah, now what's this weird background color? Now I think that's, yeah, we left that here. So of course we need to get rid of that. And all right, so here we have our 6 home cards basically. Now all we have to do is to fill them and then of course style them, which is going to be the toughest part. So let's start with the content in the HTML. Okay, so we don't want any of this. Let's give us some space here. And so what do we actually have in each of these home cards? Well, let's actually go back and check it out. That's the easiest way. So we have the image here, which shows the home. Then we have this heart button here, which is basically so that the user can click this and then put it on the wish list. So saying that he likes this property. Then we have, of course, the name of the property, the location, how many rooms it has, the area, the price, and then down here we have this button where we can then click and contact a realtor. Okay, So again, image, then this heart icon here, then we have the name of the house, then these 4 details, and then finally a button. So let's put all of that here into our component. So the image, and I'm going to call it the home image, very simple. Okay, so source, it's in the image folder, and home, or actually it's house, I believe. So house1.jpg, and let's just call it house number 1. Next up, we have the heart icon, and let's actually copy the syntax here for the SVG, because it's rather difficult to write it all out. And so this one is called home like, and the name of the icon is heart full. And so that is the like icon. Next up, we have the name of the home, and for that I'm going to use an H5 element, but this time not a reusable one, because we want this one only to be in here. And so this is called the home name, and it's a beautiful family house. Next up, we have these 4 details about the property, so the location, rooms, area, and price. And so each of these will be one element, so a div called home location. And then in here we will have an icon and a paragraph for the text. Okay, so this one is called the map pin. And then for the text, let's just say it's in the USA. And I'm actually not going to give these ones here a class name, because I would have to call this like home location icon and then home location text or something. And I don't think that's necessary. So let's just keep it here at home location. And then we know that we can style the SVG in there and the P element in there separately. Okay, so let's check that out at this point. And so of course the image here is huge. And all of this looks rather strange. But yeah, that's because we didn't format anything at all. So this will actually be quite similar for the other ones. So I'm just going to copy this a couple of times. And so the first one was location. Then the second one is the rooms. Then this one will be area. And the last one is the price. So for the rooms, we have this icon called profile mail, saying 5 rooms. Then we have icon expand here for the area, and 325 square meters. So let's now use the sub element here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this one, but basically what it does is that it moves the text a bit up. And so in this case, because we have square meters, so that the 2 should be a bit on top of the 2, of the M actually. So just like this, so square meters. Maybe in the US you're going to use square feet or something like that, I'm not really sure. But here in Europe we use, of course, square meters. Then for the price, we have the key icon, and let's say that this one costs $1.2 million. So quite an expensive home. But again, we're talking about luxury homes here, and so that's reasonable. Okay, looks good to me. Now all that's left is the button. So button, and now we're going to reuse the one that we created before, which is called simply CTA. And contact Realtor. Okay, and that's it. And let's now just confirm if everything is okay. And it is. Okay, and so we're now ready to do the same thing here for all the other 5 homes. And if you find it a bit boring to watch me creating this HTML structure here, then you can just use the final code and skip this part until the end of the video, okay? And so then you don't have to waste time doing all of this. But anyway, I will do it here now in the video. And so if you want to join me doing that, then of course you're more than welcome. So let's get rid of this. And 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is a lot of code here. And where does it even start? Okay, so this is the first one. This is the second one. So this is simply house number 2. It is called the Modern Glass Villa. So Modern Glass Villa. And if you're wondering how I selected all of this text here at the same time, I simply used this shortcut here for expand selection. Okay, so on your computer maybe this is a different shortcut, but I used this one here. Okay, so basically with that we can select all of the text that is inside of 2 tags like this one here. Okay, so we have Canada here, 6 rooms, 450 square meters, and 2,750,000. Okay, so next one. It's a cozy country house. It's in the UK. It has 4 rooms, 250 square meters, and it costs only 850,000. I think I forgot the image here. Yeah, that's right. So 2. This one is number 3. Or actually this one should be number 4 already. So number 2. Yeah, that's number 3 here. And so this one is the large rustical villa. Located in Portugal with 6 rooms, 480 and 1.950 millions. Number 5. It's a majestic palace house in Germany with a mind-blowing 18 rooms and 4,230 square meters. So of course I came up with all of this here arbitrarily, so none of this is real at all. So if you're a realtor by chance and none of this makes any sense to you, then I'm sorry for that. I just wanted to come up with some project here, and so I made up all of these numbers. So a modern family apartment. This one is in Italy with only 3 rooms, 180 and 600,000. Okay, and so that's it. So that's our content in the HTML. It looks all kind of weird now, and that's because these images are way too big, such as the icons. So let's just very quickly fix that, so in order that it doesn't look that bad. So let's close this one here and this one. And so let's here now add the selectors for the image. And let's say with 100%. And so that should make it better. Then we can also add all the other selectors here. So the one for like, for the name, and then the ones for the location, rooms, area, and price, they will actually be like all the same. Okay, and so let's add them all into one bigger selector. So location, the rooms, the area, and the price. And then remember that in there we have the SVG and the P, right? So in each of them we have the icon and then the P element. Okay, so let's add that as well. So of course as a nested element here, because it's inside of these selectors, and the same for the P. And so let's also now style these SVGs, because these icons, they are way too big now. Okay, So first we can also fill them, so change their color basically. And again, I'm going to use color primary. And then a height and a width of 2 rem. And again, the height and the width here being the exact same value. Okay, and so just like this looks a bit more friendly now. So that is the first part of building this section and these home cards. In the next video, we're then going to take care of actually building the card and laying out all of these elements. So if you're ready for that, then let's move on together.